Hello friends, it's Dylan Young here, developer advocate at Sitecore. Today I'm joined by Sarah Riley, a Sitecore sales engineer. She will be running through various use cases of triggered experiences in Sitecore Personalize to facilitate triggering of a ticket inside ZenDesk or to pass ZenDesk additional details about the customer from Sitecore CDP and Personalize. As has been the case with the rest of this short series of use cases from Sarah Riley, she really showcases some of the advanced use cases of using Sitecore Personalize with other best-in-breed products such as ZenDesk in this topic or Salesforce CRM or Marketing Cloud. If you haven't seen the rest of her videos, definitely check out our playlist on CDP and Personalize, where she covers CDP, Personalize, as well as Sitecore Connect. If you like today's video, please subscribe and like today's video. Also, feel free to comment and let us know of any specific use cases you would like us to cover. So with that being said, let's jump in to Sarah's presentation.
So to start off here, to set up your own demo, you can go onto ZenDesk and see plans and pricing and basically immediately set up a free trial. When you set up a free trial, then you'll be asked to give your own email address and confirm it, and also give your own password. Once you do that, you'll have access to two things. You'll have access to, first of all, the kind of ZenDesk agent portal, and this is where all the tickets are going to be created. And you'll also have access here to the admin center, where you can add in different tools or change different things in the profile as well. There's a couple of main different APIs I'm going to be using for this demo, so I'm going to show you these first of all in Postman. So the first one of these is for creating a ticket. So here you can see this is the endpoint here for creating the ticket with all the details here. And the authorization here is actually your email address and your password, the same one with basic auth that you use to get into the platform. So this one here is my instance, which I called Sitecore help at .zendesk.com, and then it's on the endpoint for tickets. And here my body, you'll see in the documentation, you can add in here like the ticket comment, the priority, the subject, and then here whoever is requesting it. So here I've just put in that the requester here is customer. When you first get the profile, you have one kind of dummy customer profile, and this is their email address. To add in other customers, you need to basically verify the email addresses. So I didn't bother here. I just basically added all the tickets against the customer that already exists in the platform. Then what I also use is updating the user. So this here basically allows me to update a particular user with additional information. So I can update any of the standard fields that exist on the user, or also any kind of custom fields. So these are all the custom fields that I set up in ZenDesk to be added by CDP. So I set up here a tourist segment, loyalty points, offers, and the last trip for the customer. And I'm also updating here the notes against the profile as well. So I'm using this endpoint here to update it. Now you'll notice that this endpoint takes in here an ID. This is the ZenDesk customer ID that you need here. So the way that I'm retrieving this ZenDesk customer ID is by using one last endpoint, which is for searching for the customer. So here I can search for the customer using, for example, the email address of the customer here. And then what's going to come back is all the details related to the customer as well. This is a GET request, so I don't actually need this body here. So I can send this off, and I'll get back all the details related to that customer here. So I can also pull back, for example, I don't know, all the details we have about the customer, their history of tickets, everything else that I need here. So there's kind of three different main endpoints that I'm using here for this demo. Okay, so they're the ZenDesk endpoints. So obviously when I'm updating the user here, I mentioned that I'm adding in these kind of custom fields here, like the segment, the loyalty points, the offers, and then the last trip. So just to show you where I set those up. So I go in here into the admin space, then under people, we'll have this user field section, and in here we can basically add a new field, and then I can select what kind of field it is, for example text, give it a name and a description, and then once I've done that it will come up here as a field. So for example, I've added here the last trip the customer has taken, the loyalty points, the offers, and the segment the customer is part of as all kind of custom fields into my instance of ZenDesk. So that's the kind of admin setup that I did. So now I want to go through how I'm actually using those endpoints within CDP and Personalize. So first of all, I set up a little kind of web experience here that's going to run in the booking funnel, and it's actually, I've just set up page targeting as well. That also just runs when the person scrolls 25% down the page. It will just basically launch this particular web experience. So let's just preview this. And what this is going to do is it is basically going to allow me, I just need to start again, 1 second. So I'm just going to get into the booking funnel where my experience should launch. Okay, great. I'm just going to scroll down the page. Okay, so what this experience does is it's basically going to create a ticket inside ZenDesk, and it's also going to populate those fields that I was showing you earlier. So here I'm just going to enter in my mobile as if I'm going to have a call with an agent now. So it's saying, you know, for example, you know, you've been on this page for some time about booking a trip. Are you sure you don't want to talk to an agent? And then this is then going to create a ticket, a corresponding ticket here in ZenDesk. My number here isn't being used for anything, so I'm just putting in kind of like a dummy number here. When I press submit, I'm basically creating an event against my profile called a create ticket event. So inside my web experience, if we just have a look at this here, here I am sending an event with the type create ticket. So that's the type of event that I'm sending across. And that event is basically triggering 2 different full stack experiences. So the first one here is for create ZenDesk ticket. Okay, just go into operational here. And we're just going to see here that this is triggered. Okay, so you can see here this is triggered successfully in our operational tab. And if we look into the details here, what we're going to see is this is what's being sent across. So this here, I've just populated it with a dummy request. So it's always just sending across this same body. But you can imagine here what we could have is we could have a decision model that's pulling out details of, you know, what that person has added to the cart or different information that we've pulled out from when that event was sent in. To create the ticket, all of that could be pulled in with a decision model. And here I'm just sending across the email again as I'm just putting in a dummy value of customer@example.com for this demo here. But again, we could be using the actual value inside the CDP. In to the endpoint that I'm using, again, it's that create tickets endpoint that I was showing you earlier, and I've set that up as a connection. So now a ticket is being created with those details, but I'm also triggering another full stack experience, and this one is going to update ZenDesk with customer data. Okay, so if I go in here and view the code here, we can see here that I'm populating here the segment, the loyalty points, the offers, and the last trip. And all this is coming from a decision model. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking out different values from my decision nodes. So here my decision node called ticket details, I'm pulling out the ticket details, segment, I'm pulling out the segment, etc., etc. And then I'm sending this across to my endpoint to basically create that to create these customer details there. And if I look here at my endpoint, again, you can see here I've just hard coded the customer ID for this example, in this case for this ZenDesk connection. But what I could actually be doing is pulling back the ID from the decision model itself. And I set that up in here just to show how it would be done. So if I open up my decision model that's pulling back all those details and take a look, what you're actually going to see here is that here what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling back the customer ID from ZenDesk. So here I'm using that search endpoint. This one, let's go test this connection here. This one here for searching based on the email. I'll pass in the email, and back from the email is going to come the actual ID for that customer, and I can then basically use that ID for the integration itself. So here I can see, for example, this ID is coming back here, and that's the ID I can then use to update the guest, for example. So that's coming back here as well. Okay, so once I've done that, when I've basically created a ticket, both of these full stack triggered experiences are executing, and that means then that the customer is being updated with this information. So if I go back into ZenDesk and go into the agent portal, and I go into my customers here, and I go into my customer that I've added the detail against, here I can see that they've basically been updated 3 minutes ago with a new ticket, and I can see here the details of my ticket that I sent in with that endpoint for a browse trip departing from departing with a private car on the 28th September and all these details. I can also see here my notes have been updated. So the notes against this user have been updated. These fields here, my custom fields that I added into the portal, my CDP segment, my loyalty points, my offers, and my last trip have all also been updated here against the profile. So all these fields that I passed in are being updated when I hit that endpoint, when that event is basically being triggered from their website.
Well, that concludes today's presentation. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you haven't done so already. This will allow you to get notifications of any future great content that we're releasing on this channel. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed today's content, and we'll see you again next time.